Cloak and Dagger, kind of a surprise show that came out of nowhere for me. So I'm pretty excited to talk about these first 2 episodes. If you've been watching, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler talk for the first 2 episodes of Cloak and Dagger. So let me start things off by saying I don't know anything about Cloak and Dagger. I never read any of these Marvel comics. I knew nothing. I never even heard about it until I saw commercials for this show. I'm coming to this completely fresh, knowing nothing about anything, and I gotta say, from the beginning, this thing hooked me. I mean, from the point where you have Dagger's dad on the phone, and he gets in the wreck, goes off the bridge, into the water. You have Cloak, his brother's killed by the crooked cop, falls in the water. Cloak jumps in after his brother, gets trapped underwater. And then when that oil rig collapses and it sends out that energy, and suddenly they have powers. And so Dagger is starting to light up really bright, and Cloak looks up and starts to go towards the light. She looks out, and all this darkness is heading towards her. She's like heading towards the darkness, and they grab each other's hands. Like, that was incredible. And that opening was so intense and so strong. It just, my wife and I were just sitting there watching it, and we were just like, what is this? So like, right from the beginning, we're really hooked. And then you get into the characters, man, and I just feel so bad for both of them. I mean, you got Cloak, and he's just this normal teenage kid growing up in a Christian home, going to a Christian school, and like, things seem to be going well, and he seems to come from a good background, and his mom has, like, picked up the family and you know, given them strength, and now they're moving on from the murder of his brother and things like that, and you can tell there's a lot of pain there, but they're moving on, and you can tell that Cloak has a really good background, while Dagger, after the death of her father, everything has fallen apart. You know, her mother's pill addiction has gotten worse, and she's a druggie, sleeping around and all kinds of stuff, and Dagger herself is out there. She doesn't even live with her mom. Her mom doesn't even seem to care that she's now living with her mom. So the point of this is we're getting this extreme look at these 2 teenagers, and you got Dagger, who is the light in a very dark and awful life. And then you got Cloak, who is the darkness, living in a very bright and good life. So that's kind of interesting that you have, like, their backgrounds like that, and it's so opposite. But then, as I watched in these first 2 episodes, as we're getting to know these characters, I'm watching Dagger want a better life. She wants to leave New Orleans because she wants a better life. She wants to leave everything behind her and get a better life. She feels really bad for that dude she's with because in touching her mother, she saw what her mother, her hopes and her dreams really were, and saw the positive things in her mother's mind. And she touches this guy in a dance, and suddenly she sees this guy's positive attributes and what he really wants, a life with her and to make her happy. So she's seeing the light and the positive side of people, and that's really interesting to see that. But, you know, she feels so dark, so she dumps that guy to leave. But then what's interesting is you go and you got Cloak, who is the opposite. Like, his mother goes to kiss him on the forehead, and boom, he sees her anxieties, the things that are keeping her up at night, the things she's trying to turn into positive energy. She lost the one son, she's still in that pain, and she just has this constant fear of losing him, and he sees this, like, dream play out, and so he's seeing the darkness in people. And so that's really interesting to me, how they played it out in this show. I don't know how they play it out in the comics, but how they've played it out so far in this show is interesting. So Dagger is trying to move towards the light in her life. She's trying to get a clean start and have a better life, and in a sense, moving towards the light. And Cloak is just feeling so poisoned by the crooked cop that killed his brother that when he's accidentally teleporting in his sleep to where this crooked cop is, and he finds out where this crooked cop lives, and he shows up with a gun at the end of episode 2 to shoot this cop, he is moving towards the darkness. So he's coming from a bright and clean life, heavy background, but still overall bright and clean life, and heading in a darkness, and she's coming from something that's really dark, trying to head into light. So it's really interesting the way they're playing with the opposites, and they're playing with that. So I'm finding that writing to be really smart. I'm finding just the show to be really smart. I feel for these characters. I feel that empathy for them. I want things to turn around. It's interesting to see how Cloak comes from a Christian home and a believing home, and he's drifting towards that darkness away from belief and letting his bitterness poison him. And she's in this darkness, living in this church, looking at the stained glass window of the Holy Spirit coming down like a dove and wanting that light and that miracle in her life. And it's just, all that stuff put together is incredibly interesting to me. So I don't want to give a grade yet because it's only the first 2 episodes, but I will say I highly enjoyed both episodes. And where episode 2 left off, where Cloak was about to shoot the guy that killed his brother, and then vanished and appeared right in front of Dagger and shot, like, I think he shot her, but everything moved so fast I couldn't see it. All I know is her car veered off, and I guess they're going to be in some sort of accident right now or something. So I'm looking forward to episode 3 now and seeing, because this will be the second run-in these two have had. This will be the second time these two are going to meet, and I can't wait to see the dynamic that's going to happen between the two of them. Oh, I guess they met the first time when they were kids on the beach in the water situation. Okay, but point is we're not really seeing them together yet, and it's going to be really interesting to see them together. So far this show has won me over, and I'm hooked, and I want to see where it's going to go. So I'm hoping it stays really interesting. What did you think of Cloak and Dagger? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified the next time I drop a review like this, a ranking video, theological analysis, or anything else. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.